Here, high up in the Mendips hills near Bristol, for a most important day of stock car racing, because we have the Formula 2 Briscoe World Championship coming up here today at Bristol Stadium. First, though, we have the supporting races, and we have a full program of Formula 2s, 3 heats, including that World Final, Consolation Final, Grand National, plus supporting racing from Southern Stocks, Bangers, Hot Rods, all coming up later on during this 10-race program here today at Bristol. A good crowd gathered here at this Mendips circuit, which has gained a reprieve from the threat of closure due to the lack of planning permission, which has now indeed been renewed. So thankfully the petitions and work that was done by the promotion here has been rewarded. Now, of course, the cars that are coming up in these first couple of Formula 2 races represent those who haven't qualified for the final. And there is one sensational non-qualifier, the national points champion and runner-up last year at Newton Grange, Kevin Stack. Stack had problems at the Hartlepool semi-final, and indeed on the first turn was rammed into the fence off the outside position of the front row of the grid. So Stack is out of the chase. We have Gordon McDougall, 41, the promoter at Newton Grange. He went out also in the semi-final stage, along with Mike James, 617. McDougall went out at Hartlepool, and Mike James had a rollover at St Austell semi-final on his local track and was out of the World Championship. So these drivers just looking for a bit of consolation, in effect, here today in the general racing program. Well, lovely view over the hills. As you can see, the sky's pretty heavy over there. We've had a touch of rain about here. It's laid the dust. And indeed, we have perfect racing conditions here at the Mendips Raceway for this very, very important day of racing. So 5 white tops lead them off in the first Formula 2 race, the 1300cc maximum engine cars, the junior brethren of the big Formula 1s. Yellows going past there. Looks like we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 yellows coming out for heat number 1, and this race is for the Marlon, or rather the Marion Bennett Trophy. £100 goes to the winner, and the first 8 qualify for the grand final. 16-lap race here at Bristol. As you can see, Bristol tarmac circuit if you haven't seen it before, and a pronounced slope going down that straight. Yes, we've got a camera down there this time, and we're going to get some lovely shots there of the cars roaring down that straight into the bottom turn, down by the pits and back up again onto the home straight. The green flag is shown by the starter, and the race is underway. It's 108 who leads them off, Chris Denley from Oldham in Lancashire. But they have a good lead, and indeed they've got quite a jump over the yellows. Look at the blues coming through, and the leading blue top going through, 561, Nick Lawrence. So there's first, and there we have those yellows going through. Lawrence in the yellow car with the blue top going through. Leading red going in there, Mike James, 617, Gordon McDougall, a long-distance traveller down here to the Bristol circuit, as I say, from Scotland, promoter at Newton Grange, and holding out Kevin Stack here in the silver line car, number 628. Stack, though, finding the gap through on the inside of McDougall. So Stack through down into the bottom pit turn, past number 55, yellow top Barry Hall from Nottingham. Well, there is the race leader, still number 108, Chris Denley. Bill Morris having problems. Bill from Kingham in Oxfordshire with a flat tyre on the outside rear. Cars coming down into the bend. We've had Nick Lawrence spin out on the home straight, clowns to the fence just in front of the commentary position. Stranded right across the home straight, able to get back into it. There's part of bodywork fallen off onto the infield. Lawrence with his hand out. Don't know whether he's indicating he's going to turn left or what. There's the race leader, 108, Chris Denley. Now, Denley's main challenger here looks to be 832. That's Tom Keat from Carlton in Nottinghamshire, 798. Spinning out there, one of the blue tops, Bob Falker from Tilsley in Lancashire. Catching 512, Andy Jolts there. Not far behind, it's Kevin Stack coming through at 798. Pulls up Chris Denley, having problems there. Number 108. Graham Marchand already on the infield. There's a spin out there for Gordon McDougall. Denley getting back into things, but I'm sure he's lost it there. And indeed, Denley holding on to the lead. It is confirmed. Chris Denley first in 108. Going down, you can see the way that the track bends down. And spins out on that difficult turn, and coming through there. It is that yellow top 769 Ian Fugit from North Curry in Somerset. Second place, 832, Tom Keefe. And Mike James has pulled out onto the infield. He's going to have to look at the Consolation race. So there we have the leader. Number 769, Ian Fugit, closing on Ian Dominy. White top 143, back marker. And Fugit through. Second place goes to 832, Tom Keefe. Then we have Chris Denley. And behind Denley, it's a long way down the length of a straight down to the fourth place man, and it's 534. And that's Ray Harvard from Ancient in Oxfordshire. So it is whites and yellows showing up well here in the opening stages of heat number 1 for the Formula 2 starts. Gordon McDougall driving through though strongly after his problems earlier. There is a suspicion he could be a lap down. He did spin out earlier on, but I don't think he lost a complete lap. So McDougall fighting back well, but what's happened to Kevin Stack on that basis? Denley going down in third place. This is a long run down to fourth. Or indeed Stack coming through there in 6:28. Well, the starter is preparing the 5-lap marker now for the cars here in Heat 1. Starter John Williams showing 5 to Ian Fugit. Gordon McDougall up there right on the heels of Fugit now. Say a touch of doubt about McDougall. But he certainly is closing in on Fugit, confirmed in second place. Coming up now with the 4-lap marker being ready, as McDougall's closing in all the time. So the Scot challenging the West Countryman strongly here in the first race of the day in the Formula 2s. Don't often see Gordon McDougall racing here on Screen Sport. Showing a fine turn of style here. 3-lap marker now coming out. As McDougall tries to find a way to put the bumper and then remove Fugit from the racing line. Has he got it now? Moves in, yes, just to the one tap. He hasn't moved Fugit far enough. Still the yellow top in front of him. 2-lap marker now coming out. And yes, McDougall's through. Gordon McDougall leads in number 41. Second place, Ian Fugit, 769. Behind Fugit, now we have number 55, Barry Hall. He could be a lap down. Chris Denby, or Denley rather, is past the yellow top Tom Keefe, 832. Last lap marker going out now for Gordon McDougall. Yes, Gordon McDougall renowned for the polka dots on the car, but not too many evidence on the current paint job. But polka dots or none, he's going to win Heat 1 here. The checkered flag goes out and red top. Gordon McDougall wins. Number 41, second place, 769, Ian Fugit. Looks like third place there. Could have gone to Chris Denley, the white top 108, but we await confirmation from race control. First place, 41, with second following him right away around there on the closing laps. 41 from 769 then, in Heat number 1. For the Formula 2s, for the Marion Bennett Trophy. Gordon McDougall wins the £100 in car number 41. Ian Fugit having a fascinating battle there with the Scot, but getting edged out in the closing stages with 3 laps to go. Well, indeed, there was a correction to that race result. My suspicions were confirmed. Gordon McDougall a lap down. He was indeed not the winner. The winner indeed was 769 Ian Fugit, and indeed we can take a look now at the full result for Heat number 1. First, 769 Ian Fugit. Second place, Tom Keefe, 832. Third place, it was Kevin Stack in 628. Then we had 516 behind him. That was Norman Butcher. In fifth place, Duncan McConnell in 633. Then we had Gordon McDougall in number 41. In seventh place, it was number 26, Craig Vaughan. And eighth, it was Ray Harvard in 534. That's your top 8 then in Heat number 1. They all go through to the final here today. Don't get that confused with the World Final. That constitutes a Heat here today. Well, the cars are on the rolling lap now for Heat 2, also racing for another Marion Bennett Trophy, and the winner picks up £100 in this as well. White tops there, 930 Jeff Bunn leading them off in pole position. Looking at the blues there, and 2 reds, we have 774 Richard Scrivener from Carlton in Nottingham, and 621 George Beckham. Well, it's Jeff Bunn who leads them off in 930. You can see now the sunlight reflecting off the dampness of the track in a couple of points. And so it's Bunn who leads 930. George Beckham still with all 4 wheels attached to the car. Lost the wheel in the semi-final at St. Austell. Beckham working his way through the field now. Runs a pub in Weston-super-Mare, the Britannia Inn. Has a regular annual trophy here at Bristol for the Britannia Trophy. Well, spin up there on the turn. Looks like Simon Farrington, 552, indeed it is. So it is Jeff Bunn still leading, 9:30 from Leamington Spa. Good race for second place at the moment. You just see it coming off the turn there, looking for the number as he comes down. It's number 200, leading, or rather second from 782. Andy Jukes in second, Paul Galvin in third place. White Sox still ruling the roost here in heat number 2. Barrington now joining the 54 car, Martin Buckley abandoned on the infield along with 571. That's the car of Paul Parker. Those three out of the race so far. Well, Beckham featuring strongly here in 621. Smoke pouring out the back of that car now. 890 Peter Rice on his trip through the turn. Just behind him is Richard Scrivener. And there's Rice producing the smoke and spinning out down on the bottom turn. One man who's clouds at the fence also, 631. One of the White Sox, Colin Gould from Western. Well, Beckham now looking to put the bumper in on that White Sox. There's the leader though, Jeff Bunn. And Beckham edged his way past the 631 car of Colin Gould. So Beckham, one of these surprise non-qualifiers for the World Final. That's the thing though with Formula 1 and Formula 2 stocks, that the semi-finals really do sort them out. Well, Beckham working his way through this field. Still Jeff Bunn in first place in 930. There he is at the back of those cars, coming up on the tail enders. He's passed number 790, the car of Mark Taylor from Bakerville, Lancashire. Bunn with a very clear lead here. Looks like it could be White Sox 548 in a second. Trying to watch the hand signals from the starter. And indeed, giving second now. Looks to 548. We have confirmation of 672 in second place. In fact, the blue top car of Mike North from Chard in Somerset. Well, Bunn and Formula Yellow top back down the white currently. Leads now with 5 to go. Beckham now trying to take 2 cars at once. He's not too far away from the leader now. He gets past with consummate ease there. Through into second place now. So how far has he got to go to get up with Bunn? He's got half a lap to make up on Bunn. 4 laps to go. Looks like 930 car set for a win here in Heat 2. 3-lap marker being readied now by John Williams, and it's going to be shown now to Bunn. So there goes Bunn, 930 up into the top turn. Gradually climbing down now, back down towards the pits. Beckham is the length of a straight behind now, with only 2 and a bit laps to go here at Bristol. Bunn is looking set, Beckham just coming out of the turn, and at that point Bunn was already across the start-finish line. So there is Beckham, 621. Doesn't seem to have too much time left to catch up with the race leader. Oh, but Bunn spun out. Oh, he had it sewn up. Last lap marker now coming out. And it is shown to George Beckham, confirmed now in the lead here in Heat 2. Beckham first, he's got Bryn Thomas hot on his heels in car number 900. Thomas trying to put the bumper in there. Just edges Beckham out, tries again, but Beckham's going to escape. Comes in now to win Heat number 2 here at Bristol. Marvellous race. George Beckham wins after Jeff Bunn spun himself out with 1 1/4 laps to go. Agony there for the 930 driver. So close to a win, but George Beckham's fine driving through the field. Rewarded, he was still something like 70 yards behind the leader when Bunn spun himself out, but that's the point. You've got to be in there to win. Bunn spun out, and Beckham gets the win in 621. Well, 3 miles down over the top of the hill is the Cheddar Gorge. Lovely location here at Mendips Raceway. And let's take a look at the result now of heat number 2. First place, George Beckham, 621. Second place, 900, Bryn Thomas. Had a marvellous effort on that final turn but couldn't get through. Third place, 527, Tony Hooper. In 4th place, it was Roger Powell in 682. 5th, indeed, it was Jeff Bunn. Managed to recover and get a 5th place. 6th place, it was 774, Richard Scrivener, regular at Skegness, and making a trip down here to Bristol on World Final Day. 7th place, 200, Andy Jukes, and 8th place was number 90, Ian Turner. Those 8 qualify for the final. So it's Les Palmer, 24, in pole position. Alongside him on the front row, it's number 1, Malcolm Locke. Just to remind you, if you're a newcomer, that obviously they're not going to be graded in roof colours in this. It's all down to qualifying positions in those 2 semi-finals. Locke, the winner of the Hartlepool semi-final. Les Palmer, the winner at St. Austell. See Jimmy Moody lining up right behind Palmer on the second row. On the third row, Chalky White on the inside, 514. Great to see so many cars out in a Formula 2 race. John Daw there, number 907. He must have an outside chance, Trevor, number 907, John Daw.
I think if there is an outside chance, it's definitely John Daw. He goes very, very well indeed.
Looking down through there, 1 or 2 of the foreign entrants.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Irish guys this year. I mean, normally it's the regulars of Greenwood and McKnight, but I met the Robinsons when I was over in Ireland, but at that time they had just built the car, so they weren't performing that well. It'll be interesting to see how they go.
We do, of course, have a missing car in this one. Russell Taylor's Gold Bandit 744. What's the situation with them?
I don't really know. They'd already got one I got here today, but I believe it all stems back to the rain. Mike James, but I can't really know.
So there's no Skull Bandit in this one. Only Russell Taylor qualified, but it's Palmer who's made the break. And Locke getting pushed aside there. As the flag drops, Palmer is away. It's Moody second, third is Hooper, fourth is Locke, fifth White, sixth Sansom. Then we have John Robinson from Portadown and getting pushed out the way.
Gary Hooper's in the fence there. I think he just got pushed wide. He's got going again now.
So another spin out there down on the turn. Robert Robinson, one of the Irish, along with the yellow top, 139 Ken Baldwin. Well, Palmer now getting pushed heavily by Jimmy Moody, and looks like we're going to have a Scottish leader. Palmer slews across the track as Moody hits the front.
Yeah, very good drive indeed from Jimmy Moody. It's driving excellent.
Well, he's made the break now. He's shoved Palmer aside. Third place, Chalky White now. Fourth is Gary Sansom. Fifth, Malcolm Locke. And a complete pile-up there. Right, let's try and pick him out. Barry Plowman, 694 involved there. Trying to pick out the numbers of the other two. Do they look familiar to you, Trevor?
No, they don't actually. I think it was a yellow roof, wasn't it? But I didn't see who it was.
So we've got the waving yellows out now here at Bristol.
He's climbed up on top of Barry.
That's John Lothian.
Yeah. I think the guy from the Isle of Man, is it?
Yes, that's Brian Kinraid, number 64 from Douglas on the Isle of Man. Don't know too much about Manx racing generally, do we?
No, we don't. No, it's the only time we see him once a year.
Well, he certainly made an impact there with John Lothian almost being launched skywards there over the fence post. And Barry Plowman, a man from your neck of the woods there, hitting problems.
Barry did very well in the semi-final at St Austell, and then he blew the engine up later on, and we only got an engine fitted for him yesterday. It's a pity. I would think that the guys behind Jimmy Moody are quite grateful of that, because he pulled sort of 5 or 6 car lengths at the time that happened, and looked as though maybe he was going to, start running away with it. Chalky, I think, will have to shift legs a bit quick if he's going to kick with Jimmy Moody.
Well, the ball closed in now on the Scot. Jimmy Moody leads them off now as the race has restarted. Les Palmer second, Chalky White third, fourth Gary Sansom, fifth Malcolm Locke, the reigning champion. Then we have the Irishman, John Robinson, number 9. Behind him, John Daw. Then we have Alan Rowlands, John Thompson, and Dave Luscombe, 642. That's the current order. Malcolm Locke with his work cut out here, blew the chance off the front row, and working his way through.
So Les got back in the lead. Moody pushed him again into the bottom corner. I think Moody's going through again. Les is sideways. Yeah, and it's Chalky coming up the inside now. 3 abreast.
So fascinating stuff at the front. Moody's regained the lead. Palmer in second, third place Chalky White. All action Formula 2 World Final here at Bristol.
Malcolm Locke seems to be dropping back for some reason. He's going around the outside. John Dawes just overtook him. I think that John could come back up with the leading bunch.
So it is Moody first, still Les Palmer second place, Chalky White in third. Must admit at this point I would fancy Chalky to come through. He's putting the bumper in there on Palmer, and that's found himself the way through into second.
And Alan Rowlands is there, well, driving extremely well. Really nice to see somebody like Alan up there in amongst everybody else.
So Blue Top up there in third place, and plenty of action going on behind Oh, and he clouds the fence over. He goes almost there, just clouding the starter's rostrum. And that's caused problems for Palmer. Doors being taken out behind them. Also,
Simon Shortley went there as well.
Well, tragedy there for Les Palmer. In strong position, but getting caught there by that crash into the fence by 521 Alan Rowlands.
Well, I must say that Jimmy Moody is driving a really, really good race. Chalky's starting to get into the groove, shall we say now. Malcolm's creeping back up. He's in third place after that little fracas that we just had.
Well, there indeed.
Gary's probably out of touch now because he's half a lap down.
Well, there indeed, Malcolm Locke coming through in third place. Fourth, it's now Gary Sansom, a long, long way down to the next place car. And it's Gary Hooper coming through indeed in fifth. But he's got a long, long way to make up. It really is the top four well clear. So Moody beginning to carve his way through the back markers. Chalky White second. Malcolm Locke closing in now on the 514 car.
Yeah, I think that as the race goes on, Malcolm tends to get quicker because his car tends to handle, and he's took Chalky on the top bend. Malcolm's car tends to handle that a little bit better than the stickier the track gets. And I think that you could find that slowly over the next 15 laps that he's going to whittle away at the little bit of lead that Jimmy Moody's got. Les has just pulled off into the centre getting out of his car, so he's out of it altogether.
Well, Malcolm Locke indeed working his way through. There is the race leader, number 7. Will it be lucky for Jimmy Moody? Malcolm Locke, let's see him going down into the turn. You can see Locke there in second place. Third place now, Chalky White, 514. Then in fourth we have 651, Gary Sansom. As I say, it's a long, long way down to Gary Hooper in fifth place, and then even further back behind Hooper, down to number 40, one of the Irishmen.
I think Malcolm's chance could be coming up in the next couple of laps because Jimmy's got 4 cars to get past, and he's only got to get held up for a fraction of a second, and Malcolm will be back with him.
We've got the waving yellows out again. Andy Morris's car parks up on the straight. We're trying to see the main problem. There is a pile-up down on the 4th turn. Just Jimmy Moody's coming down now to the scene of the crime. Was the blue top embedded in the fence? There it is.
I think that's the earlier one.
Oh yes, of course. It's tucked out of view from the commentary point, so it's been there ever since. Doug Forbes.
Doug Forbes climbed up on the fence. I don't really know why the waving yellow should be out there.
Looks like he needed that board on top, the Skull Bandit impersonation.
Sorry for Jimmy now. He's done everything right so far, and every time that he's pulled that 4 or 5 car lengths, the waving yellows have gone out. He's got it all to do again.
So Doug Forbes, well embedded into the fence. The wheel hung over the top, or the second top wire. So Jimmy Moody has to do it all over again. Malcolm Locke now in with a tremendous chance. The green drops again. This is Scott first. Locke second. Third place Chalky White. And fourth Gary Sansom still with Gary Hooper in fifth.
It's definitely Jimmy Moody and Malcolm are faster than anybody else. I mean, within half a lap they've pulled 4 or 5 car lengths again. I think that Gary Sansom could take Chalky before the end of the race.
It's beginning to look like Locke could be retaining this title. But Moody is driving a superb race. He will, of course, become the first ever Scot.
And Malcolm's having to go up the inside now in the top corner, coming out, and they're neck and neck as they go into the pit bend. For which you've got the inside line, of course, providing you can pull away at least a car's length before the next corner. There's not a lot of problem.
So Locke it is who leads.
I think sure enough Malcolm has got the edge now.
Well, the 1984 world champion leads the 85 final here at Bristol. Jimmy Moody in second place. And beginning to be left now by the Locke car. Third place still Chalky White. Fourth Gary Sansom. He's coming under pressure now from Gary Hooper. And Hooper indeed is through in 686.
Yes, I think before the end of the race you might see Gary on the winner's roster and certainly in third place. Again, it's a car that seems to get better as the race goes on. And if Chalky's is not right from the start, which it obviously wasn't quite right, it does tend to go off a little bit. And I can see Gary closing on Chalky now.
Well, the black flag has just been shown to a driver. Looks like it's 640 Graham Judah, who indeed has pulled off onto the infield. Well, Malcolm Locke leading and increasing his lead steadily through this race.
Gary Hooper's gaining about 2 car lengths every time they go into the corner on Chalky, and I should think by the next... Well, he is on his bumper right now going going down into the box corner and pushing hard. And the Hooper's through. Chalky sideswipes the fence and ends up in the side of the treble 7 car.
So Gary Hooper clear now of Chalky White. So Chalky White's chances end in retirement from the race again, just like in '84 at Newton Grange. Chalky White's car, they're up by the ropes. So Malcolm Locke is steadily increasing his lead. He's got 2 blue tops between him and Jimmy Mooney in second. Gary Hooper, indeed, now in a rostrum place in third. Fourth, Gary Sansom. Fifth, it is number 40. I think that's David Corkish, the Manx driver, because he didn't have a number at the start. There's no 40 listed.
Oh, well, he's done extremely well.
So the car's coming out of the turn there. Looks like it's going to be Locke's championship again, but anything can happen.
Almost with Jimmy Moody now. I would think that he'll be right on his bunker coming into this box corner, sure enough. But he does more damage to himself and he gets spun coming on the exit to the corner, so now Gary's out.
Well, they're dropping by the wayside here, all but Malcolm Locke.
I honestly think that Gary made a mistake there. He should have waited an extra, at least until the next corner, because he wasn't really in the right place.
We're into the final lap. We're into the final lap now here at Bristol. Malcolm Locke on his way to retaining his title now. Locke with just that bend, another one, and then the straights are coming in now off the bend. Malcolm Locke retains the Formula 2 Championship of the world. Malcolm Locke first in car number 1. The world champion wins again. Second place to Jimmy Moody in number 7. And third place goes to number 651. Gary Sansom, that's how it looks at the moment, waiting for confirmation, obviously, for race control. A marvelous drive, though, by the Scot to get a second place. Has there ever been a Scot in the second before?
No, I don't believe there has, and I really feel sorry for Jimmy, because I think, had the race not been held up twice, the way he was going at the time with the condition of the track, he could possibly have pulled enough to have kept it till the end, but even so, he did very, very well to finish second. Particularly so far off home territory as well. Yes, agreed. Yeah, not a lot of experience on the track. I think he did extremely well. Well, Malcolm Locke retains the Formula 2 World Championship. He's not going to have to get the paint pot out. The gold roof stays in place. Malcolm Locke retains the title with a fine drive there. And a very popular win indeed here at Bristol. Well, we now have the full result for the 1985 Formula 2 Stock Car Championship of the World. First place and world champion retaining his title, number 1, Malcolm Locke. Runner-up, number 7, Jimmy Moody. Third place, 651, Gary Sansom. In fourth place, number 40, and indeed it was Jimmy Greenwood from Antrim in Northern Ireland. Changed his number from 34 to number 40 before the race. Fifth place, 701, John Thompson, the blue top there from Doncaster. Sixth place, Adrian Smiler Hudson from Louth in Lincolnshire, number 23. Seventh, 673, the Scottish driver, Errol Johnston. Eighth place, number 688, Alan Eastman. Ninth place, 188, Ronnie Ford, another Scot in there. 10th, John Lothian, number 70, another Scot. And 11th and final finisher, number 513, first reserve for today's race, Roy Slocum from Milton Keynes in Bucks. 11 finishers only in the championship. The top 3 withdraw now from the meeting. The other 8 qualify for the meeting grand final. Consolation race after the excitement of the World Championship. We now go through with the regular part of the meeting. The Consolation, the non-qualifiers from those first 3 Formula 2 races. And leading them off, it looks like the driver a late entrant. It's a white top. Looking for his number now as he comes up the straight, and it is number 782. That's Paul Galvin from Evesham, yes, not qualified from heat number 2, in fact. Second place is number 631, and that's Colin Gould. He's from Western Supermare. 790 getting in trouble there, Mark Taylor, just cutting across the front of that car there. The top 8 cars qualifying for the meeting final here today at Bristol. And this race for the Anderson Engines trophy and a £100 prize to the winner. Anderson Engines of Wantage in Oxfordshire, sponsors of Alan Rowland's 521. Well, there are the 2 leaders. 782, or indeed the car behind now, a lap down. 782 still leading Paul Galvin from Evesham.
Second place, still 631, Colin Gould. Got a couple of reds on this one, 3 in fact, as I can see it. We've got 907, John Daw, 617, Mike James, 24, Les Palmer out in this. Les Palmer having to recover from the disappointment of losing out in the World Championship despite having pole position. Plenty of whites obviously out in this. 782, the leader there, Paul Galvin. That car on his tail is a lap down. Second place, 631. Third place is Barry Plowman. And Plowman coming through well. He's repaired the car after that crash in the World Final. Plowman, former red top, now down to yellow, 694. And also coming through there past 631 now is Mike James, 617. Also going through Dave Luscombe, 642. And indeed Barry Plowman through into first place now. Plowman first, Mike James is second. Third place is Dave Luscombe as 782 is left behind Paul Galvin. Then we have 790 Mark Taylor being pushed out the way by Les Palmer, number 24. Well, now there's the race for first. Plowman getting shunted out the way there by Mike James. And James is away in 617. The Cornishman leads here in the consolation race here at Bristol. So James picking off the back markers now. Looking good here for a win. I don't think there's going to be too much of a challenge, although Plowman's coming back. Dave Luscombe follows him, 642. John Daw, James is travelling mate, trying to get past Mark Taylor with Les Palmer hot on his heels in number 24. And Plowman has regained all the distance now. Closing in all the time. On the leader, Mike James. The 5-lap marker now being brought out by John Williams, the starter here at Bristol. There's Dave Luscombe, 642. And James has spun out with Plowman, and Luscombe hits the front. Coming around the outside, John Daw. John Daw just getting caught by Luscombe. We got a shot there of James, but it's all going on at the front. And Daw trying to edge Luscombe out of the way now. Third place there looks like Mark Taylor, 790. Marvellous racing here. Well, these two on either side of the two spun-out cars of Plowman and Mike James. John Daw out there in 907, 790 Mark Taylor up there coming up well. Mike James has pulled up onto the infield. Third place now Dave Luscombe, 642. Well, they're clear now. M54 behind them. I suspect it to be a lap down. Martin Buckley from Hitchin. 2-lap marker coming out now. Looks like it's going to be a win for John Daw from Grant Pound. There's the Northstall in Cornwall. Mark Taylor from Lancashire holding off the challenge of Dave Luscombe, 642. Luscombe from Thomas and Devon. Daw working his way through the back markers past Graham March, now looking for the route past the Indomini. And it's the final lap now for John Daw. Daw, a non-finisher in that World Championship final race. Picking up some consolation though in the consolation race. John Daw wins in number 907. The Cornishman finishes first. So Daw first, second place went to Dave Luscombe, 642. Third place Mark Taylor, 790. Marvellous race there with Barry Plowman and Mike James spinning themselves out. Then it was the desperate task for Daw around the outside, Luscombe around the inside. And Daw and Luscombe collided just after the crash. Luscombe held on briefly, but it was Daw who was unstoppable from then on. Got past the 642 man, and there was no catching him. A great win there for John Daw in the consolation race. Official consolation race result now. First 907 John Daw, second Dave Luscombe 642, third 790 Mark Taylor, fourth Martin Buckley 54, then we had Les Palmer 24, 890 Peter Rice, 558 Pete Weeks, and 694 Barry Plowman. Winner place now 782, and that is Paul Galvin. Third place now Graham March at 817. Then we have number 200 Andy Dukes. Then we have the first of the yellow 633 Duncan McConnell. Said earlier, the world champion has to drop out of the racing after his win. The first 3 cars all are stripped down and have their engines checked by the stewards and the machine examiners, engine scrutineers. Way down the straight into the bottom turn. Oh no! Yeah, there's a wheel off there somewhere. Cars in confusion. They're going around the turn. The wheel rebounds onto the infield, and it's 558. Pete Weeks has got problems. He's still got 4 wheels though. one of the world finalists. Well, it's Jeff Bunn, 930, sitting just behind him in lead. Second place is Duncan McConnell. Then comes Martin Buckley. Then we have Paul Galvin, 782. Behind him, 682. That is Roger Powell. Making their way around the turn. Yellow's closing in on the leader. Oh, that one having problems there. 682. Roger Powell right across the centre green. Getting back into the race on the turn, though he holds back, just trying to find a careful way. And another wheel's come off somewhere on the track. The waving yellows are out. The problem's here. The wheel flies down the track. Oh, that doesn't go in the crowd. Jeff Bunn first there. Driver from Leamington Spa in the West Midlands. Well, there's Dave Luscombe and Smiler Hudson battling it out. Luscombe hitting problems and getting right in front of Kevin Stack. Stack followed by Beckham. It almost looks like he's being towed by him, so close is he. Beckham looking for the gap on the inside. Gordon McDougall's behind him, 41, looking for a chance to come through himself. Thinking about the cars, Errol Johnson going through 673. Like a fascinating race between Beckham and Stack. Beckham having got the drop on the Columpton driver, the national points champion Kevin Stack. Stack's going to lose that at the end of the year. It looks like Paul Broach is going to be the points champion. Mind you, let's talk about Broach going Formula 1 next year, along with the rest of the Skull Bandits. Yes, it could be the situation that we never do see a Skull Bandit in the World Final. Of course, Russell Taylor did drive at Newton Grange last year. That was under the Fastlight Bandits title, but it was the debut for them. Huge spoiler, set up so beautifully by Doug Forbes earlier on. Well, Errol Johnson in Vilas, 7-3 Scots, coming out for the final. First place to Jeff Bunn. Smiler Hudson coming up well, then well now rather number 23. 7-6-19 Fusion pulling up on the infield along with Duncan McConnell, 6-3. So first place Jeff Bunn. Second place, Smiler Hudson. Third place, Kevin Stack now. Looks like Ian Turner's up there at number 90. Could be a lap down. Oh, climbing the fence there, Smiler Hudson. Battling to control the car, but he's back in again. So Hudson losing second place there. Starting marshal at Long Eaton. Smiler and of course the racer at Skegness as well. Kevin Stack there moving up a place with the crash for Hudson. This Jeff Bunn who still holds on in 930. 3 laps to go now for Bunn. There's Stack in second, Beckham in third. And it is Dave Luscombe in fourth in 642. Fifth now Errol Johnston. Then we have Richard Scrivener in 774. 2-lap marker now coming out for Bunn. I think he might just hold on here. Looks like we're going to get a good finish as Stack closes in. He's got one back marker between him and the leader. That back marker now out of the way. It was 527 Tony Hooper. Closing it all the time now, just over 1 lap remaining, and there's the white top 930 Jeff Bunn with Kevin Stack right in his tail now. Has to try and put the bumper and try and get through for this win in the final. Trophy up for grabs here, the Alan Benson Trophy. Can Stack now deprive Bunn? He does. Beautiful stop car tactics. Shove Bunn straight up. Kevin Stack wins the final here. Stack the winner then in 6:28. Gets some consolation out of this World Final meeting. Didn't qualify for the championship itself, but wins the final of the meeting, the Alan Benson Trophy. And Jeff Bunn was so severely hit to the fence there, his front suspension has collapsed. Results now of the Stock Car Grand Final. First place 6:28 Kevin Stack. Second place George Beckham. Third place Dave Luscombe. Then came Norman Butcher. Errol Johnston getting in fifth place, the Scottish driver there. 688 Alan Eastman in sixth. Seventh place Ian Turner, and eighth place Pete Weeks in 558. 6:28 then, with the extra lap to negotiate. As the green flag drops, yellow top there, Ian Turner going wide. Looks like Alan Rowland's coming through in the blue top, but we got any more world finalists out this one. George Beckham at the back in 6:21. Looking at the rest, we have John Dorr, Gordon McDougall, Mike James, Andy Morris, Errol Johnston and George Beckham. Those are the star drivers, the superstar drivers, apart from Kevin Stack. 6:28 is on the handicap. 108 going past there, Chris Denley. So it's 108 Denley who leads. Indeed, he led Heat 1 by John Daw beginning to carve his way through some of the cars in front. Lower order cars. 69 Simon Chalkley's pulled out of the race. Well, there goes the race for the lead. Dave Luscombe through into first place in front of 108. Chris Stanley. So Luscombe it is who leads this Grand National qualifying round. Gordon McDougall going past Stanley now as well. Featuring strongly now the Scot. In front of him is George Beckham already up there. Stanley drops back. Luscombe is away. Second place now goes to a red top. It looks like Mike James. Indeed it is. Third place, it is now John Daw. Fourth, George Beckham. Fifth now, Gordon McDougall. Alan Rowlands was up there, but he spun out. Hit the fence. Mike James coming through now. Dave Luscombe still first, but James closing in the gap now. There's Luscombe, the blue car. James the second, 617. Closing the gap all the time. He's got his fellow Cornishman, John Daw, just behind him, 907. Then comes George Beckham. Then we have a back marker Ian Domley before Gordon McDougall, 41. Doug Ford, 777. Errol Johnson, 673. Andy Morris. Then Alan Eastman. Kevin Stack, 628. That's the order at the present time. Beckham moving up to 621 in third place currently. Coming up to lap number 200, the back marking white top Andy Dukes. There goes McDougall through number 41. From the left, that blue top driver, and it's 516 Norman Butcher. And Kevin Stack has pulled out off onto the centre green, but getting back in the race now. Down by the pit gate. First, second, third going through there. A couple of back markers, then we have fourth McDougall. Newton Grange, rather, promoter. Pile up on the back straight at the present time has robbed second and third of their places. So Dave Luscombe, 642, is going to have a clear run now. McDougall pulling up onto the centre green as those cars are piled up there. Mike James and George Beckham both getting in trouble. That's going to give John Daw a better finishing position now. A pity though in these races that we haven't seen more of the world finalists race in anything other than the world final. I think something like 60% of the world final field appeared in that race only today. Actually, there were a lot of casualties in that race. Only 11 finishers. Checkered flag comes out now, and it goes out to Dave Luscombe, 642. Wins with comparative ease there, with James and Beckham having their problems getting involved in the pile-up. It looks like James may have recovered to take second place in 617. But it's the win to 642. The all-blue car, the blue top, 642. Dave Luscombe wins the Grand National qualifying round here today at Bristol on World Final Day for the Formula 2s. Looks like second place indeed went to Mike James in 617, despite that spin out, with third place going to the Scottish driver Errol Johnston. Good to see him racing throughout the meeting here at Bristol. So that brings to a close this day of racing here at the Mendips Raceway. It's a day that has seen Malcolm Locke retain his World Championship. 2 years in succession now, Locke has kept that number one on his car, or rather put the number one on and kept it there. Retains the World Championship title here today at Bristol. Until next week when we return, hopefully, with the Formula 1 World Final from Bradford. Yes, 2 World Finals in 2 weeks. Not bad for you, is it? We'll see you again next week, hopefully from Odsal. If not...